Hello and welcome back to the fourth and final video in my Paradox Interactive Historical Playthrough Mega Series, playing through the history of the modern day nation and now actually in the game of Turkey. Like we said in the last video, this is video number 4, but in video number 3, this happened approximately 12 years too soon. In reality, that didn't happen until 1923, but let's roll with it and let's get underway. So we're going to break this video into 3 major components. There may be a few bits and pieces here and there peppered in between, but there's going to be 3 major phases of it. The first one is going to be the World War I phase. Now, we really don't have a whole lot of options for running a truly world war, so I'm going to try to figure out somebody that we can go to war with as close to history as we can possibly be, using or in alliance with our 2 primary partners, Austria and Germany, which is historically accurate. Turns out that Bulgaria was an ally of the Ottomans as well, even though they recently declared independence from us. So the first portion is going to be the World War I portion. If you don't know this, newsflash, the Ottomans and the Central Powers lost World War I. So part 2 is going to be the partition of where the entire Ottoman Empire was broken up. And then part 3 is going to be about the Turkish Independence, where Turkish nationalists under the leadership of Mustafa Kemal basically regained their quote-unquote independence and the control of Turkey. We're going to try to figure out how to do that. I'm not so sure certainly I don't want to, but also I'm not so sure we could lose the whole country and then retake it again, which is kind of what happened in history, because we just wouldn't have the military force necessary to do that. And there's really no concepts in Victoria 3 for waging like guerrilla wars and that sort of thing. So those are the 3 portions. We're going to do World War I, post-World War I partition, and then the concept of the national independence and formation. We're going to pretend like Turkey's not already formed, and we're going to take this all the way to its last line in 1923, with the formation of the nation of Turkey. That is the plan. Let's get to it. All right. Let's get a couple things out of the way first that are still in the way, that we haven't really covered from a historical perspective. Now, we are showing as a military dictatorship, I'm assuming because we won the revolution that happened at the end of video 3. We are in power as the intelligentsia, and in theory, that should be the Committee for Union and Progress, or the CUP. Now, we do not have any powers, parties, because we are in the midst of an autocracy. So that is historically inaccurate. Something that is kind of close to accuracy, however, is that even though the CUP was in control of Turkey in what was allegedly a parliament, they actually did really kind of rule with an iron fist. So in a way, they were kind of like a single-party state. I don't even know if we can do that. I think that is concept. And we may do that, actually. I like that because it's pretty close to what actually happened. So we're gonna push for that. I'm gonna push for that just because I think it's kind of cool and accurate. And it looks like we just need to pass political agitation, which is right there. Right now we're working on what, rotary valve engine? Kind of irrelevant. We've got, where is political agitation? Oh, it's down in level 4. Alright, well that kind of sucks. because we have all these... let's see how long it would take. 7 years? Why not? Alright, maybe after Rotary Valve is done, we'll go ahead and push for political agitation and move us to a single-party state. Now, the second thing is in 1911, even though this already happened, kind of, Italy invaded Tripolitania and took it over. I don't know if they directly took it over or if they sort of puppeted the nation. We had that happen in the previous video too soon. That was inaccuracy number 1. And inaccuracy number 2 is done by France. You may recall in the previous video that France went to war with us. North Germany stepped in, and apparently what they did is added a war goal saying that Tripolitania was transferred to them. So that is inaccurate. Tripolitania should have been under Italy at this point. But like I pointed out in video 3, Italy really can't get their act together as a nation. They haven't been unified or anything like that, which kind of sucks. So I guess I probably should have done daycare with them to try and help them out. But, well, at least I got Germany and Austria to survive. So those are 2 inaccuracies that we're going to just kind of get out of the way and work with as best as we can and continue on with our 3-step plan. A somewhat minor, although probably wasn't to the people fighting the war, thing to go through here real quick. 1913. In 1912 and 1913, the First and Second Balkan Wars occurred. And these Balkan states basically fought against what was described as a woefully unprepared Ottoman Empire. Now, I've already simulated... They captured a lot of territory back for themselves. I've already kind of done some of this with Bulgaria. And I've tried to do a few war simulations with them that I could lose and give them the territory. But that's not working out. So we're going to simulate this. Now, I believe it was either Bulgaria or Greece won this city here, which is Edirne, or Adrianople. And we cannot subdivide the Ottoman Empire any more than just the single state of Eastern Thrace. This is part of modern-day Turkey, because the Ottomans won it back. So I'm pointing that out to say we're going to kind of do some surrendering at this point. The first thing that I can do is probably give southern Serbia to Serbia. They're like, yeah, sure, we'll take it. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do that. Again, this is not the way it really happened. There were wars fought for this. I just can't bring it about, unfortunately. The other thing that I can do is release Albania as an independent. And so we're going to go ahead and do that and just let those take place here. So we see Serbia, Albania. This little Montenegro I can't really do anything about. And ultimately, Greece would have moved up into this Macedonian area, and I can't really give it to them because they don't like me. I'm still looking to fight some kind of war that I can lose, as opposed to giving away territory to everybody. Unfortunately, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing for the rest of the game, because I don't want to fight a war to lose it, and then just nothing happens, like all they do is hit me for reparations or something like that. There's kind of no point to that. So we're going to consider the First and Second Balkan Wars over at this point, and we're going to fast forward one more year to the infamous year of 1914, where we will see World War I, also known as the Great War, begin, and I really need to figure out somebody to fight. Fast forward now to November 11th, 1914, and this is the day that the Ottoman Empire officially entered World War I. Now, the causes, goings-on, and outcomes of World War I are as complicated as they are large. And the Ottomans, Turkey, again, sorry that it says Turkey. That wasn't supposed to happen until 1923. Anyway, there were major participants in the Great War, in World War I. So research has shown me that what happened was the Bosnians and the Serbs, these Balkan states here, Bosnia especially, should have been part of Austria. That happened during the Treaty of Berlin in 1878. And this spirit of nationalism, the same spirit which caused Bulgaria and Romania to become independent, where these Balkan states were not really wanting to be a part of anybody. They weren't wanting to be a part of the Ottoman Empire, and they certainly weren't wanting to be a part of the Austrian Empire. So as an act of defiance, I guess one would say a terrorist act, frankly, a Bosnian-Serbian national, somebody who wanted them to have their own country, assassinated Austria's Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who was next in line to inherit the Habsburg throne as the Emperor of Austria. What also happened during this time was kind of a complex web of relationships. So, Austria immediately declared war on Serbia. Russia, who I've alluded to in previous videos, considered themselves a protector of Serbia, so they declared war on Austria. Germany considered themselves an ally of Austria, so they declared war on Russia. France considered themselves an ally of Russia, so they declared war on Germany and Austria, and Great Britain, and so on and so on and so on. The Turks had alliances with Austria and Germany, and in fact, they had signed a secret agreement earlier in the year, mid-1914, saying that they would join war on behalf of what became known as the Central Powers, and indeed they did. I've been saying the whole time, I'm looking for a war to fight, I'm looking for a war to lose, I just can't find one. I could do some stupid bang my head against Russia kind of war if I really wanted to. So what I'm going to try to do, which is really stupid, is this Albanian proletarian revolt just happened, or it's, they're trying to revolt. And I just saw that Russia started bankrolling Albania. So I'm going to try and join this on the side of the proletariats, which again could be completely stupid. Oh, and guess what? They don't even want my support. Okay. Well, there you go. So I take that back. I could offer support to them, but the whole goal was I was hoping to get Russia involved in something. So I'm going to push this for another year or so and just see if something pops up, because I'd rather just not narrate my way through this. Let's try and fight somebody. Alright, this is the closest I think we're going to get. Russia decided to annex Finland, so I'm going to join on Finland's side. Netherlands. Okay, so, other people are going to join on Russia's side. Offer support for return of Dobruja. Yeah. Why not? Okay, so let's do... Yeah, I'll offer support for return of Dobruja. There you go. Okay. So, alright, we're in war. Oh, good. Excellent. North German... Excellent. Alright, World War I is on, man. North German Federation side with Finland. Alright, let's see who piles on in this one. I'm excited. Alright, I'm gonna let it go. Alright, let's see what happens. Let's get everybody mobilized. Alright, World War I is on. It's on like Donkey Kong. That's right. I'm excited. Okay, let's throw in some extra war goals here. Can we add work rolls? No. Okay. Alright, just because I'm just a co. Alright, we got fronts. Yeah, we'll get those. We'll get the... oh, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just fast forward to the war getting started here, and let's see who, if anybody else joins. Austria declares neutrality, not historically accurate. Okay, in the real World War I, which we're not doing, unfortunately, the Ottoman Empire was involved in 5 different fronts, or 5 different campaigns. The first was the Sinai and Palestine campaign, which is obviously in this area here. Okay. And really what began as an Ottoman effort to they tried to take control of the Suez Canal, soon became a massive conflict with the British, the French, and the Italians. Now, they were originally fought to a standstill, and ultimately the Ottomans were defeated, and large portions of this area were captured, became ultimately what is known as the British Mandate for Palestine, the British Mandate for Syria and Lebanon. We're going to go through that a little bit more when we do the partition. Now, the next area of the campaign was the Mesopotamian area, okay, which is around this part here. And the British and Australians fought here, primarily against the Ottomans. What really began as an effort by the British to protect their oil fields, sound familiar, soon escalated into a larger set of conflicts that were designed not only to capture Baghdad, but to pull the Ottomans away from other fronts in the war. Now we have the Caucasus front, which is here, and that is, of course, what we're fighting against Russia, and the Ottomans did fight against Russia on this front. So there was that one. And then the other two were the Persian campaigns, which was here with Russia fighting alongside Persia, or, not alongside, but, on the Persian front. And then what was known as the Gallipoli, or the Gallipoli the Battle of Gallipoli. And that was fought on the water, where the British and the French tried to basically control the Dardanelles Straits so that they had the naval superiority. So we're not going to fight on all those fronts because they just don't exist. Okay, so there's a big front up here that Germany's fighting on. Again, the Ottomans would not have fought in this like Western Europe kind of front. They would have fought down here, which is what we're doing. Now the only problem, which is super historically not accurate, is we're looking like we're going to win. That did not happen at all. So we'll have to figure out how to deal with that. We're going to pause on this date, April 24th, 1915. During World War I, Armenian Christians located in the Caucasus were viewed with suspicion by the Ottoman government. The Ottomans began a program of forced deportation, removing Armenians from their homelands due to these suspicions, which is really reminiscent, in my opinion, in a way of the Japanese internments that happened in America during World War II. The deportations of Armenians became violence, which in turn became massacres. In 1919 and 1920, we're not there yet, but I'm going to highlight this, the Ottoman government held the Istanbul trials and acknowledged the massacre of Armenians as war crimes. The perpetrators were sentenced to death, even though many of them escaped that sentence. April 24th is set aside as a remembrance of the Armenian Genocide, and I am now going to dedicate an entire minute of silence to the many, many people who lost their lives during this terrible event. I pray that these kinds of horrors never happen again. Unfortunately, as the war wears on, we're kind of mopping the floor with the Russians. Super not historically accurate, as I pointed out. So we're probably going to win the war easily. Which sucks, because I'm all about the history of it. It's okay, because we're going to need to do the partition kind of by hand anyway. We were always going to need to do it by hand, unfortunately. So we're just going to fast forward to the victory. I mean, it's really picking up speed here. We're going to fast forward to the victory, pretend like it didn't happen, and then fast forward to the partition after that, as though we lost. Now, having said all that, maybe what I'll do is just straight capitulate. I can. North Germany's not going to like me for that one, but in theory, they're supposed to lose too. I don't get Dobruja back, which is not accurate. Anyway, let's just back out. Okay. There's no... The following war goals were enforced upon me. Nothing. Alright, whatever. So, I'm simulating the loss, which the loss was real. We're going to fast forward quite a bit to the partition and do that, you know, ourselves. Of course, it looks like Russia's going to capitulate here any time. So, I think it was just time. Alright, let's fast forward. Fast forward to November 11th, 1918. The 11th of November, it was originally known as Armistice Day, and in America, at least, is now celebrated as Veterans Day. It changed its name after World War II. On this day, in 1918, the armistice was signed between the Allies and Germany, officially ending World War I. So we're going to go ahead and partition the remaining portion of the Ottoman Empire. Let's get that started. Alright, so here we are in 1920, and it's time to do some partitioning. Now, I'm going to put a map up here on the left, and we're going to take a look at that for a little while. We're going to do a couple maps, actually. So in 1920, the Ottoman Empire was partitioned, or, you know, so cut in pieces, okay? I keep using that term, by what's called the Treaty of Sèvres. And it divided up the nation into many different areas. Now, we don't really have the capability to do that, so we're going to release nations, okay? So that's one of the things that we're going to do. Is release nations, and then start comparing the borders. So a second map that I'm going to put up right now is the map of mandates. And so we're going to zoom in on that land-wise. I'm going to try and keep everything as good as I can here. And let's start our releasing. So there were several mandates, which are sort of areas brought under control by the great powers. And we're going to create those now. All right. The first was the British Mandate of Mesopotamia, basically known as Iraq. And so we're going to go ahead and release that as an independent country. And there you go. So right now it's known as Iraq, but before, or back then, it was known as the British Mandate of Mesopotamia. Now, we can also do Syria, okay? But you'll see, as I highlight Syria, that I don't want to do that because it doesn't make the mandates look right, basically. Now, I can't do anything with this Jabal Shamar area because I don't own it. So what we're next going to do is the British Mandate of Palestine. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now, here's Israel, right? But Israel was not formed as a nation, reformed as a nation, until I think it was 1948 or after World War II. So we're going to go ahead and release Palestine as well, and that will be considered like the British Mandate of Palestine, which allows us to release a smaller area as the French Mandate of Syria. And there we go. Okay, so let's close that back up again and take a look. And you can see that our map is looking not right on the money, because the mandate for Palestine kind of extended out into this Jabal Shamar area. Iraq also extended. I don't own this, so, you know, I can't really do any... Are there even real states here? It's all desert, so, okay. Yeah, you can't really do anything with the desert. Okay, so that's peace. That's mandate, you know, or that's basically the partition. There you go. Now, what happened in Sèvres? So let me put that that Treaty of Sèvres map back up again. That we don't see here is this area here, okay, of Smyrna. I think it also Izmir was given to the Greeks in the Treaty of Sèvres in 1920. And this area here, you can see at the map, was really Armenia and all that. Okay, so these areas were given away. Now, I don't think I can do that. Let's take a look. Maybe we can. Yeah, see, I can't do Armenia because I don't have that state. Now, I should do Cyprus because that was actually given away a long time ago. The British owned it, but whatever, they didn't want it. Remember, you might remember a video that I tried to give it away. Okay, so what we have now, which is 3 years too soon, again, minus that little thing right there, that Macedonia, I just cannot get rid of it. The Greeks should own that. Maybe what I'll do is just, I don't want to go to war with them because they don't take it. They won't accept it back as reparations. We can maybe try. In fact, let's go ahead and try and see what it would look like if we go to war with Greece, because that would be the Greco-Turkish War, right? Now, in reality, in the Greco-Turkish War, we would go to war with them to take back this Smyrna area. Okay, but what I'm really hoping to do is do a war with them where they will try to take Macedonia from me as a charge, okay, or as a war goal. All right, so let's try and take Thessaly back, force the diplomatic play, okay, and let's see what they put up as their war goals to see if I can capitulate. If they put up Macedonia as a war goal, that would be extremely helpful. Who's leaning Greece? Egypt's leaning Greece? Whatever. Put up a war goal. I don't really want Thessaly because it's not historically accurate. Okay, see, all they want is war reparations. And they just won't. And then, you know, Britain's going to come in and basically support that. I think just for the rest of the video, I'm just gonna skip it. It's just too difficult. All right, let's rewind that a little bit. Okay, so we rewound back to where we were. So again, this Aydin, I don't know how to pronounce it. We did not lose that. We should have lost it. We should never have had this, Macedonia. So in reality, what was going on at this point is the amount of territory that Turkey had lost in this northeastern area near the Caucasus. I believe that Kars was never theirs. It should have been lost to the Russians a long time ago. The amount of territory that the nationalists at the time, led by Mustafa Kemal, otherwise known as Ataturk, found this to be completely unacceptable and went to war with Greece and fought them for it, and fought them successfully for it. Now, they did end up doing a lot of sort of back and forth, but what happened is, with all the other fronts having been settled, the Ottomans were able to move their whole military machine to focus on this one thing, and eventually the Greeks were overwhelmed by it. Their backers in Britain basically suggested that they sort of pull back and let them go. So we're going to fast forward to that now. Specifically to this date, July 24th, 1923, where the Treaty of Lausanne was signed formally recognizing Turkey, the Republic of Turkey. Now, Turkey does not celebrate its true independence until this date, October 29th, 1923, which is Turkey's official Independence Day. And it is here that this video ends. We're going to take one last action, and that is to move the state capital from Istanbul to Ankara, which is what happened. And the Republic of Turkey was formed October 29th, 1923, with its first president as Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, which I'm sad to say does not exist anywhere. I think. Let's go ahead and make sure of this. Yeah, we don't see him at all. Now, he would have been a military leader, so I wonder if actually he exists. He does not. Okay, which is a shame, because he was significant to Turkey's existence at this time. So let's go ahead and throw the map up there of what the Treaty of Lausanne set as the Turkish borders, and as you look, you can see we got pretty darn close. Almost exact. The only thing we didn't do was get rid of Macedonia and this Montenegro piece up here. So I am feeling pretty good as far as how close we got to modern day Turkey. That is really the end of this video and the end of this entire series. We are not going to continue on into Hearts of Iron 4, as I've alluded to, or directly even said already, because Turkey simply did not see major conflict. I kind of laughed to myself thinking, you know what? They probably deserved a rest, actually. There's been a lot of warfare and a lot of changing hands. And the nation of Turkey is now much different from what the original Ottoman Empire looked like. In fact, here you see where we began with Tunis, Tripolitania, all these states really swearing allegiance to the Ottomans. Here's where we began, and here's where we finished. October 29th, 1923. I want to thank everyone so much for watching, especially some of my viewers from Turkey who have made a couple comments on either Reddit or YouTube. I hope I did your country justice, and I want to thank you for all of your input and feedback. Now, what are we going to do from here? Is this really the end? Well, actually, no. We are going to start over. We are going to head northwest and head all the way up to a tiny little island in the North Atlantic, specifically the British Isles, where we will rewind time and resume play from Crusader Kings 3, playing as the English. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you later.